Hi, welcome to our Revival News today. We are going to be hearing from a very special guest. He is not only a student, but also is a professor now for Christian Leaders Institute, so we will hear from him shortly. Just a couple of quick updates. First of all, just want to thank everyone in Florida that came out to the seminar that Brian DeCook was doing, as well as my dad, and I've heard that they had an awesome time. And if you want to see a couple of pictures, get on the network. My dad posted about both events. Also, I wanted to let you know, a lot of you guys have already seen it, but on the homepage right now we have a survey, and hopefully next week I will get to every single one of those surveys and get a chance to call you, email you, or text you just to kind of get some even more feedback and clarify any comments that you guys have. So thank you again for just taking the time to do that. And without any further ado, I want to welcome Michael Greene, who already has been very familiar with this room doing the videos, but now I'm just going to get a chance to introduce him to you guys. So, welcome.
Hello. Yeah, thank you.
Well, it's great to have you. I'm excited about what you are doing. First of all, tell them what class are you doing for?
So this week I recorded the Business Management for Every Enterprise, and I recorded the Corporate Finance class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was a big undertaking.
Finance, that sounds kind of hard.
It's pretty tough, so yeah, hopefully we can help people understand that a little better.
Okay, awesome. Well, I'm really excited. I want to take those classes when they're available, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, good. I'd like to get your feedback on them.
Okay, well, you will when I get to them.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, how did you get into ministry, or even what's your testimony? Like, were you raised in a Christian home?
Yeah, sure. So my family is obviously very Christian oriented.
Okay.
I grew up in church, in a Baptist church. I was baptized when I was 15. Always had a relationship with the Lord. At the time of finding Christian leaders, I was living in Phoenix, Arizona, working for Wells Fargo Bank, and I just felt the Lord calling me in my life to kind of give back and get back involved into the Christian community. A lot, for a while I was really focused and dug into my career, and that was my priority. But then the Lord called me back, and He said, "Look, you've got bigger things, planned for you. Let's figure it out." So I had no idea when I first joined Christian Leaders that it was going to turn into anything like this. Henry put out an email, I think early May. And at that time, I had moved. I already became a student, and I took a huge leap of faith because I thought I was going to be a pastor, and I still may be. I don't know. I'm going through the ordination process now, taking the degree classes here. So wherever the Lord leads me is where I'll end up, right? So, so I took a huge leap of faith, resigned from my job at Wells Fargo in Phoenix, and moved back to just outside of Knoxville, Tennessee, where I'm from.
Okay, wow.
And I was unemployed. And I was just focusing on ministry training. And then, so Henry puts out an email to, all the students.
Was that on the network, or was it an email?
It was to everybody, right? It was a mass email to all the students, right? So I kind of responded to him with my credentials and everything, and a couple weeks later he responded back and asked me to give him a call, and I did the first class I did for him was an advanced economics class that we haven't recorded yet. We'll do that when I come back up here on the 5th. But he liked the work, and he asked me to do another class. And then I did another class, and that's when I did the business management class. Okay. And he really liked that class too, so he kept asking me to build classes and build classes. So I developed the corporate finance class, the business management class, microeconomics, macroeconomics, and advanced economics.
Wow, a lot of economics.
So all of these classes are done. We just have to record the videos for the last 3.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we wrapped up the videos for the management and the finance this week, and then when I come back on the 5th, we'll film the other
that's really exciting. 5 classes almost done for
it's been a grind.
The Enterprise.
Yeah, it's been a grind for sure.
No kidding. Yeah, I admire you coming in here every day and just doing it. Was it hard to get comfortable with all the equipment, or?
I've done a lot of public speaking in my life, so I've never been recorded live that I know of, right? So I think it was the dynamic of trying to formulate multiple thoughts at one time, express what I was thinking, and keep everything else kind of like organized in my head, right? So that was the most difficult part. And in the beginning, I think you'll notice if you watch the business management, maybe the first few videos, I was a little nervous.
Right.
But I think as I kind of got more comfortable and
you
adjusted
got used
to the flow,
to just talking to a camera,
exactly.
more or less. I know Wally's hearing it, but
no, but that's fine, and Wally also provides great feedback, and he's done an awesome job and helped me kind of get assimilated to everything. So
awesome.
I was really appreciative of that.
That's wonderful. So how did you find CLI? Was it just type into the internet? That is the most common response I hear.
This is the funniest thing, right? I woke up out of bed, it was like a Saturday, and I didn't have anything planned for the day, and I was kind of just hanging out at my house. But as soon as I woke up, I heard this voice, or this internal voice or something, or just be like, hey, look for free ministry training. And I said, okay.
All right.
So I typed in free Bible ministry training, and the first link that came up was CLI, so I just started at the top, I clicked on it.
Like, yeah, let's go with the first one.
Yeah, right? So I kind of read it over, and I was like, not only is it free, it's fully accredited, and you can become ordained right here for little to no cost, an $1,800 donation, right? So I'm like, that is fabulous. So I started looking at other institutions.
Okay, so you weren't sold completely. You're like, got to check out my options.
No, I was sold but I wanted to compare the value.
Okay.
Free is obviously the highest value you can get, right? But what do the other schools cost?
Right.
And the costs were outrageous.
Even for online ones?
Yeah. So I really couldn't argue with free, high quality Bible training that's accredited, right? And that I can actually do something with, and it's free essentially, right? I mean, outside of the $1,800 donation, right? It's free. So that really sparked my interest. So as I started taking the courses, I felt myself really growing closer to God and understanding who He was more intimately, and developing more of a Christ-like, just everyday lifestyle as what really started happening. A true, not saying that I was, a bad person or something before, but I'm saying that like my intimacy with Christ got stronger as I took the courses.
Right.
Especially the survey, the Old New Testament survey, my knowledge increased so much.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like so instead of just like reading the Bible through, now you're going back and you're actually being tested, and you're testing your knowledge, and you're testing your understanding of what you just read, and that really helped me develop my understanding and even more knowledge, and understanding Scripture better, and memorizing more Scripture, and being able to use that to combat day-to-day things. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very awesome. I guess, so your favorite classes were Old Testament and New Testament, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, so far, right? So, I mean, I've started at I started taking the courses back in May of 17, and then I'm working on the People Smart class right now. So I've done the New Testament, Old Testament survey, and I'm in the middle of this People Smart class now. And when I started, really hammering these out, I kind of put the brakes on that a little bit. Not to say that I don't still keep up with it and still work, but I'm not as aggressively working on it, because when I first came to CLI, I mean, I was in it.
Right, that's what you did every day.
Yeah, I was in it, right? I had my Bible open, I had the pages open, and I was really digging in. But now that we've kind of, came to this, I haven't stopped, obviously, never stopped studying my Bible, never stopped praying, never stopped doing those things, but I think my coursework with CLI has kind of slowed a little bit, but I want to ramp it back up as we get these videos knocked out.
As you're getting done with the business courses.
For sure.
Okay, awesome. So you had felt like you wanted to do business until you were doing business to extent, and then you felt that call. All right, okay, explain it.
So naturally, when I first went to university, I was an education major.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to teach and coach.
Okay.
Right? And then I felt like, well, I think as a young man in my early 20s, I was distracted maybe, and I thought to myself, well, I want to maximize my value in the market.
Right.
I want to make as much money as I can. Right? So I was like, maybe I don't want to be a teacher anymore, right? So I was like, I'm going to go and get a degree in finance. And I did, and I really enjoyed it. And I really caught on, and it was just something that was my niche, and I was just able to go with it, and I did really well. I went to grad school at Charleston Southern University and obtained my MBA, which is a Christian university.
Okay,
so
that's good.
so the MBA was you know, Masters of Business Administration with a Christian worldview. So it was really good. It was fantastic, and it was something I really wanted to go for, right? So you know, I went there and obtained my MBA, and then I was working in the healthcare industry, operating 16 skilled nursing and assisted living facilities.
Oh, okay.
So overseeing the operations of those. So in the meantime, I went back to school and I got my master's in healthcare administration. I thought I was going to be an administrator or something, or a regional operations director.
Right.
But then I had a friend of mine that I went to undergrad with who was working for Wells Fargo in the Scottsdale, Arizona office, and they had just started a specialty lending group for seniors housing. Well, there was a bunch of bankers that didn't understand seniors housing, so they needed people from the industry, right? So I had the financial acumen, and I had the healthcare acumen. I could combine them together and really be a consultant for them, and kind of navigate and guide them through kind of the regulatory process and everything that goes inside the operations of an assisted living, skilled nursing facility. And that was a really neat job. I traveled the country, went to a lot of neat places, so for me to really leave Wells to come to CLI was
a big jump, like you're saying.
It was my dream job that I'd worked my whole career for. I was moving up, I was doing well, and I left that for this. And here I am.
Here you are. Yeah. No, I really do admire that. Yeah, that's right.
And I'm just letting him go with it and using me, and it's been fantastic. This has been a really interesting. Being stuck in the corporate rat race for me was exhausting. And
so this is a fresh air, and
I've always, my whole family actually has always been entrepreneurs. Both set of grandparents on my mom and dad's side, they've always been entrepreneurs. They've always owned their own business. They rarely worked for the people. Not that I can ever really imagine and remember. Gas stations, car washes, service stations, stuff like that. They've always owned them. So I kind of was ingrained with the entrepreneurial spirit. At a young age, I was, 5 years old, working at my grandpa's gas station. You know what I mean? Helping air up tires, pump gas, whatever he wanted me to do, right? So, so whenever, now that I'm doing this, I feel like it has really opened up my entrepreneurial spirit, and I'm able to focus on this and do a great job with this, and then other things, it's opened me up to be more flexible and actually pursue stuff that I'm passionate about and that I care about. Not to say that I wasn't about the other things, but things that actually really make a difference for people is kind of what I'm geared towards, I think, now. So my whole mind frame has shifted, and I can accredit a lot of that to CLI being the medium that brought me together back, the reconnection with the spirits. So CLI has been a powerful force in my life personally.
Wow, and you were being a powerful force for us doing these classes. I mean, you have been an answer to prayer, and once again, I've heard from Wally just how fantastic a job you're doing.
So I appreciate that.
I'm really excited about when we're going to have those classes open for you guys, and have the opportunity to hear what you have to offer, which once again, I know is awesome. I guess I'm curious, is there anything that you would want to say to the students, maybe that you haven't gotten a chance to cover either in your walk or whatever else?
God never gives up on us, that's for sure. He'll always never leave you or forsake you, right? And I found that to be so true in my own walk. No matter how far away I got from God, He was always there to snap me back into reality. This is the real focus. This is your real purpose, right? So through knowing Jesus personally, I've really been able to find, again, who I really am and what my real purpose is. So even if you feel discouraged and you feel like you're distant from God, don't quit. Don't stop pursuing Him, right? Because He's always searching our hearts, right? He always is. So don't stop pursuing Him, because at the end of the day, all of this stuff that we can accumulate in our life, it's nice to have while we're here, but none of it's going with us, and we only have eternal salvation or not. So love the Lord God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength is all I have to say.
Amen to that. I couldn't agree more. Very well said, Michael. I want to thank you again for just coming in, and all, of course, the work you're putting in and you're going to put in February again. Just thank you for that. We wish you safe travels. I thank you guys for tuning in and just kind of getting a little bit of an update on what he's doing for both our enterprise and personally what his journey with CLI has been. So thank you again.
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for having me.
You guys all have a very blessed day, and tune in next week.